Well, let's return to the callers, guys. We have the phone lines lighting up tonight, and we have Mike from Mississippi. Mike, go ahead with your question.
Thank you, sir. My question is accountability to the people that are selling the beef, like in sale barns and off their farm. If they know they have an infected herd, I bought a herd a few years ago that had lepto through a sale barn, and the people that were selling them were sitting right next to me, and I was never informed that they had an infected herd. Is this something that can hold the seller liable for infectious herds?
Should have had a lawyer on the panel, I guess, tonight. But Bill, give me your perspective to begin with, and then see if others have thoughts.
Well, number one, as Paul Harvey always says, self-government without self-discipline won't work. Yeah. And, you know, we do have a lot of people out there that maybe they don't know they have a disease and they sell it. One thing about this proposal is it does give us a mechanism to follow that animal back. There's going to be, it's different from state to state, so what the requirements are, as long as it fits the mold of the overall program of the United States, any state can do as they see fit. So I encourage everybody to call your state veterinarian to see what your requirements are. As far as the liability issues goes, there's nothing in this about liability.
Okay.
I would say the liability issue as a whole, I think, goes both ways. In this example, it's interesting on his position, buying those cattle from the guy right next to him, whereas an earlier caller had some concerns about what happens when a consumer gets sick. Would that provide the liability back on him if they trace it all the way back to the ranch? So I think there's two great examples of why we've really focused on this being all about animal disease traceability and trying to keep that producer liability away from it as much as possible.
Yeah, very, very different than a couple of years ago. Al from Ohio has a call. Go ahead, Al.
Yes, sir. My question is, I'm a private small producer up here in Northwest Ohio, and my cattle, my baby calves are sold basically the day they're born. I just feed them out. I have customers waiting. Would the traceability be of any benefit to me?
So just to clarify, you're selling day-old calves, and your question is traceability, is there any value to you from a traceability standpoint?
No, that's not quite the question. My question is, I feed my cattle the steers out, but there's never any that goes off the farm. I don't sell them.
You're selling directly to consumer.
That's correct.
So here's a guy that's calving the cows right there. They never leave his place. He feeds them out, harvests them, and sells them directly to consumer. What is his? Go ahead, Colin.
Well, I would say in regards to this particular proposal, the animal disease traceability proposal, he's not covered because it doesn't sound like any of his animals cross state lines. And that's a very important part of this system. If an animal does not cross a state line, it is not covered under this animal disease traceability proposal. Also, animals under 18 months of age currently are not covered. That's going to be in a later phase. So those are two things where he would not be covered on this, but on a marketing side, I think that's probably a different question depending on what exactly he's doing.
Yeah, let me follow up with that. But that 12-year-old cow that he sells that somebody buys and then takes across state line to some sort of cow facility, that would be
absolutely
necessary.
Yes.
Over 18 months.
If it's over 18 months and it crosses a state line, at that point in time, it's going to have to be identified under this animal disease traceability proposal.
Very good. We'll head to Arkansas. Fred, are you on the line?
Yes, sir.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, I was interested in just exactly what are they calling a traceability program? Are they talking about having to have a vet come out and install the chips? Or are they talking like ear tags or what?
Bill and Colin, you have gotten neck deep in this. Lots, and you've responded. I think Colin, NCBA has responded to in the comment period. Give us some of the details about this program.
When you look at this program, when it comes to the identification devices, we're really pushing for the bright tags. The bright tags are official means of identification. They're economical, and we think it goes in line with a lot of the programs that are already out there that producers utilize. That's really our focus. But we're also making sure that we have the use of as many devices or methods as possible. Tattoos brands are not on their own recognized as official in this proposal. We're trying to work on that. In our comments talked about that. But one key thing about this proposal is it is extremely flexible. The states have a lot of flexibility to decide what works for the producers within their jurisdiction. And so if a shipping state and a receiving state come to an agreement on what they're going to recognize as being official, then that will then be accepted and recognized. So I think that flexibility will help us try to keep the costs down here.
Bill.
Well, you know, I think there's one of the things about this ADT proposal that is superior to the old NAIS proposal is that it has comments in it and has a lot more input from the industry. And that's going to be important. As we work through this, there's going to be some bumps along the line. One of the things that we're concerned about is we want to make sure that this all works at the speed of commerce. We don't want to have to slow down commerce on a busy sale day in a sale barn and impede commerce. We want to make sure that it works at that speed. So we're going to have some things to work on, but I ask that producers out there, as they see issues that come up, talk to your state veterinarian, talk to us at NCBA, and we can work together to get that fixed.
That's great. Great discussion, and keep your calls coming. I sure hope you'll join as a member of the National Cattlemen's Beef Association tonight as well. The number to call is 1-866-USA-BEEF. NCBA staff is looking forward to taking your call and answering any questions you may have about joining the country's oldest and largest cattle organization.